Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Humbled with your favorite host, me, your favorite show. I'm very excited to read today's stories. These are good stories, I will say. If you're very new to the show, this is a show where I will read your humbling stories. I'll make them funnier. We'll bring light to the dark situations, but at every single episode, I will share my most humbling stories so you guys feel comfortable. This happened last night, actually. I was out with my friends. We went to a place in Brooklyn, Little Brooklyn. The bouncer looks at my ID and he was like,
"This is you?"
And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And he's like,
"No way, this is you."
And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And then he's like looking at me, he's looking at the ID. And then he literally says, "Glow up is crazy." You know how that feels to be me when I took that ID photo and I was like 16, had a missing tooth and a unibrow and a double chin? Like, she would have been pissed, okay? We laughed about it and I was like, yeah, I guess. And then he was like,
"Damn, like, oh, this was a big ID."
And I'm like, okay, now we've gone too far, okay? I know that maybe I was like young, busted, and free in 2016, but like there's no need to kind of clap on her, okay? So we had a laugh. It was very silly. And honestly, it was maybe like a better scenario than, him being like, ew, glow down, busted. But fighting for my life, for my identification is kind of crazy. I was like, babe, I'm 27. And he was like, damn. I was like, okay, let's stop this. This girl sent in a story about her crazy roommate. She goes, "You will not hear a worse roommate story than this." Okay, tell me, girl. After college, I moved into a house with 3 other girls. One of the girls was a nurse who would get so drunk all the time and not remember a single thing she did. Okay, you don't remember being your roommate? Sounds like me. She would cook at 4 a.m., eat other people's food, take one bite, spill things all over the kitchen, and leave pans of food on the stove, and then go to sleep. My other roommate's dog would eat the spilled food and then shit everywhere, and the crazy roommate would threaten to kill the dog for shitting in the house. Even though this happened on a weekly occurrence, she swore that it wasn't her and insisted that we had a squatter hiding in the house who was cooking our food and leaving a mess. Honestly, she's a genius, okay? Whenever I start doing some crazy shit, I'm gonna be like, yeah, there's a squatter. Like, there's a frogger in the house. Like, it's somebody else doing this. Like, it's someone in the walls. Like, someone hacked me and sent an ass pic to my ex. Like, this girl, she was ahead of her times, okay? Unfortunately, the story gets worse. She goes, "There were times when she would even leave the stove on all night and we'd wake up to the whole house smelling like gas." Okay, you're living with a murderer. This is not no silly roommate. Also, I can't even imagine going out with her. If this is what she's doing after a night out, like, girl, what's she like at the bar? Like, is she like back in the kitchen, like with the bar backs, turning on the stoves and like eating, bitten up food? Like, how'd you find this girl? Is my question. One time she called the cops while alone in her room saying that someone had a gun. I answered the door to the cops at my house confused while she stumbled down the stairs and claimed she didn't call them. I looked at her phone later and 911 was the last call that she made. Okay. I mean, she's schizophrenic. Sorry, girlie. I don't know how you get out of this. Another time while the rest of us all traveled home for the holidays, we came back to discover that she added a deadbolt to her front door without telling us. We're stuck outside, calling and texting her. It was snowing sideways, cold as hell, and she was inside drunk and passed out. In the end, we had to kick the door down to get in. Okay, how long has this been happening? Because I would have been out after she beat my Hot Pockets. Like, don't fucking play. I stood in line and I got physically attacked at a Trader Joe's on a Sunday just for you to eat my pot stickers. Like, no, girl. No, thank you. One of her all-time worst offenses is when we all got back from vacation together to discover a pig in our living room. For some reason, she let her boyfriend keep his pet pig in a cage in our living room without telling us. The pig was only let out to go shit all over our backyard. When we got home, there were flies everywhere and the house smelled like a zoo. I broke the lease and moved out shortly after. Okay, that one would have broke me. I think the craziest thing about this story is that if you remember, this girl's a nurse. So she's taking care of us, okay? The girl that called 911, maybe honestly, she was practicing, right? Maybe she was getting her reps in. She knew like she had to call her work and she's like, let me call the office and like see if I could do that quick. And you know what? What the real takeaway is from this is that though this girl's insane and she's done all this crazy things, she still has a boyfriend. What does that mean for me? Okay, though she had a pig, she has the stove on every night and she's eating everyone's carrots at 2 a.m. This bitch is still in a monogamous relationship. So, you know what? Story's over, okay?
Cut the cameras.
This story is short and sweet, but it actually made me laugh aloud. She starts off by saying, this one time I was hooking up with this guy who loves dogs. So when I went to his house that night, I brought my husky with me. Things started to get a little hot and heavy, so we moved to the bedroom. Meanwhile, my dog is getting antsy, but I'm obviously too distracted, so I just hope she lays down and leaves us alone. Long story short, that did not happen. He was on top of me when all of a sudden he let out this startled response. Apparently, my dog had jumped on the bed and sniffed his asshole. He then goes to me, yeah, sorry, I'm just not in the mood anymore. Understandable, but I was so pissed. Never have I ever been cockblocked by my own dog. Okay, for starters, even if someone likes a dog, to bring your big ass husky and to pull in with your fucking pedigree, like I feel like that's just, I feel like when you're having sex with a man or whoever it may be, you need to focus, you know? Like I can't be in the bedroom and then I hear like my dog's tail wagging against the door. Like then I would get in my head and then he's thrusting in me to the beat of the dog's tail on the door, you know? Like, that's a visual, but that's too much for me. I also need to know, sniffed his asshole. Did the dog tell you that? Like, how do you know exactly the placement? Like, maybe he just like felt like a big, like, you know, like a big gust of wind inhaling in his hole, I guess. But like, how do you know exactly that's where that happened? That is so devastating to be cock blocked by your own dog. Honestly, my dog would be put up to adoption immediately. You would see him in the ASPCA commercial with the arms of an angel. And I'll be like, bro, I'm getting my nut. Like, you go in the shelter because that's crazy. Just kidding. But maybe. I don't know. I would have him outside, chained. I just couldn't. I'm close to getting my nut. And then your dog just comes in and starts sniffing around. Like, also, I thought that guy's like butt stuff. So, like, he's kind of a pussy for that. Like, I would think maybe like a little, don't they like a little something by the butt? Like, he should have leaned into it a little bit. He should have been, I wouldn't say into it because it was a dog, but I would say men like butt stuff with the gooch, okay? Like, I feel like that could be a move, like a golden doodle in your gooch, you know, like something. It could have, honestly, he could have overcame it, honestly. I feel like this would be a deal breaker for me because after that, you're done. Clearly, he's not matching your sex level, you know? If he's immediately out just because, you know, Biscuit wanted to do a little sniff of his butt crack, like, okay, live a little. I thought you were a freak. Doesn't he know that you're a mother? Okay, now he's not standing for single mothers. Like, I don't like this guy for you. Okay, for our final story today, this one gives me PTSD because I've been on a very similar date, but girl, I'm alive. We made it here today, so you're going to get through this. This girl titles this story saying, terrible second date with a hinge guy. All that, the title tells me everything I need to know, okay? One, second date, and it was already bad, and you're with a hinge guy. Like, we need to give this girl a Purple Heart for her work, okay? She starts off with, Friday night, we started with a reservation at Tigre. After staying there for a bit, we ended up bar hopping around the West Village. We grabbed a beer at the Spaniard when he tells me he has to go to the bathroom. As I'm waiting for him in the front bar area, a security guard starts to tell me I can't be here and tries to kick me out. I'm super confused and ask what's going on. He points to my date and says that he was doing coke in the bathroom. My date denies it and says he wasn't and he was just throwing up. Honestly, that's worse, okay? I'd rather have a guy be a full-blown drug addict than to be like, sorry, I was queasy. Like, ew. Disgusting. We go to 2 more bars after, end up making out and calling a taxi to his in the Upper West Side. Upon arrival, the cab driver tells him the fare and he gets visibly angry, kicking the car and throwing a fit, saying that he's scamming us. Okay, welcome to New York City. We get to his place when I see that there's a DoorDash bag outside of his apartment door. When I asked if he ordered food, he told me he always orders food for himself when he goes out, so he has it waiting for him when he gets back home. Finally, we get inside and it's atrocious. Empty water bottles everywhere, clothes on the floor, dishes in the sink, etc. It's also a studio, so his bed is in the kitchen, which is already unnerving because it was seriously scary. He turns on a movie and asks me to hand him the DoorDash. I ask him what he got, and he pulls out 2 burgers and said, I got both for me, but you can have one if you want. No. Not only did this man preemptively order DoorDash for himself at some point in the night with me, but he also ordered 2 for himself, only offering me one once I asked what he got. Not long after, I asked for water, and when he was getting me one, I texted my sister to call me for an emergency to get out of there. I immediately called an Uber home, and by home, I mean to Paul's Casablanca.
No.
This story does give me thick PTSD. I honestly feel it in my bones. I think the biggest red flag about this story, even though there's so many, is that he at some point in the date was like, I need to order DoorDash. Like, you're over here on this date looking beautiful with your breast out, and he's like, burger, order 2. Like, at what point of the night did he do that? Also, I've done that. Obviously, we all have, but that's such a big bag activity that you do not do when you're on a date. Like, that is that's a big bag supreme to do that on a date. And then you're sitting on his air mattress of the bed, and he's like, yo, passy my DoorDash. I would be sick. And then you're picking it up in like the brown bag, and it's so greasy that it's seeping, and you like hand it to him. And then like his pillow's yellow and probably cheesy. Like, I don't know. I'm very scared of this. And also, this was a second date. So I really want to know, was the first date so magical? Like, how did we get here? It would have been crazy if he was like such a perfect first date and he was amazing. And then this second date, he's fucking picking the lint out of his belly button. Because that's what this sounds like. And he's kicking the taxi and screaming, this is a scam. Like, babe, and he would lose his mind if he ordered an Uber and there was a surcharge, okay? Let's not talk about Uber Blacks. He'll freak out. I guess I'm mostly curious with the story is how long the Uber Eats DoorDash was sitting outside. Because you already know some fast food that he was ordering, it's getting fermented. Like, when you get fast food like that, you have to eat it quick. Like, you can't, like, pick up your McDonald's and it's cold and the chicken nugget now has feathers on it. Because if you leave it too long, it's going to go back. Like, I'm disgusted. And then you lay down. He's like, come sit. Let's watch a movie. And he has, like, lo mein stained sheets and, like, an old fortune cookie and 2 flies are humping each other in the corner. Like, I want to see this room. Mostly for science, but I just want to see like what it could have been if I like stayed with the first guy that I dated. Like, let me just see what our life would have been like living together with like a rickety heater and like old chopsticks for breakfast. Honestly, I feel very close to the story, and I really appreciate you sharing that. Also, if he's eating the DoorDash in bed, you already know that when he's like, hey, like, let's get under the covers, that you're going to be able to exfoliate your full ass leg from last week's crumbs. Like, I don't know. He's going to be like, come in bed, and you're sitting on top of like an old Gushers pack. This reminds me of the slob in that show. HBO. What was it called? Crash Box. There's a slob. And we're going to put a graphic in of this because if you know, you know. So you went out with a celebrity, basically. If these 3 stories did not shake your wig, panties, and thong off, then submit one, okay? You can go to my link tree and you can see the first link is tell Daniela what happened. You tell me the story and I'll read you to filth and I'll make you laugh and it'll be great. And if you have been submitting stories, thank you so much. Keep submitting. I know y'all have more crazy shit happening, so keep it going, okay? I want to see more of that. Keep it up. Send it to a friend. Make some shit up. Don't, but maybe you could, and I wouldn't even know to ask. You can find me, Daniela Mora, on Instagram and TikTok, and I was going to say LinkedIn, but I'm not on there. This is our episode for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I will see you guys next week for more stories, and I can't wait. Bye.